What is
So
considered a win in your world?
so really what I focus on is what's going to get me to where I ultimately want to be. I'm not counting the dollars. I mean, the dollars are important. That's what keeps us in business, right? But if you're not, let me kind of put it in this way. So you can get one client, right? And they give you 3 grand to go out on a hunt, and you stop there. You don't do any more marketing, don't do any other conversations. You dump the clubs. You're like, oh, this is great. First client, great.
Now they'll just come running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then what if that one client isn't happy with what happened? Let's say they have unrealistic expectations of what a hunt should look like.
The Making Business Effortless podcast mission is to support successful entrepreneurs by sharing the stories of high-performing service-based business owners while sharing tips and helpful resources so you can buy back time and make more wealth in your business and in your life.
All right. Now, the Making Business Effortless podcast has been focusing on those things that you need to focus on in your business in order to book more clients, to bring more people into your services, and things like that. But I also like to share the stories of other online business providers, service providers who have been there, done that a little bit, and kind of gotten stung by entrepreneurial journey, but also discovered their passion while on the journey. This is just a way to share a story to show you that there are ups and downs, but as long as you focus on your goals and follow your passion, you will get there in the end. So today I have Paul Rhoades. And Paul Rhoades has a very interesting niche, and I found it magnetizing. But I just want Paul to go ahead. If you want to find out more about Paul, of course, it's in the show notes. But I'm going to let Paul share his story with just a simple introduction of himself and what it is he actually does to start with. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Lee. Thanks for having me here today.
Oh,
I'm very
absolutely.
excited to be here. Um, for all y'all listening, my name is Paul Rhoades, and I own a company called Sizzlin Arrow Outdoors. We specialize practically in hunting, cooking, field prep, anything that goes along with that, we handle it. So, a lot of our clients come to us if they've never hunted before, never fished before, never shot a gun or a bow or any of that. They're just completely green and want to learn how to become more self-reliant, and take kind of things in their own hands, if you would say, I guess a lack of better terms. But and we don't go out like most outfitters do. We're with you the whole time. We don't just take you out and leave you, sit you in this preset stand. We go out, we set the stands together. We look for funnels, just as if I was going out and hunting a new property. That's the way that we treat it with every client we have. To where you can get the full experience and really learn what you're doing and how to do it. Because really, ultimately, my clients, as much as I love y'all, I don't want to see you back. That's the whole thing with this, is you are able to go out and do this on your own after spending 3 to 5 days with me in the woods. And if you want to come back and just enjoy hanging out with me, we can do that too. That's great. We also have come out with the spice line as well. So we do dried spices. We've got 4 that we started off with. You have steak and game, chicken and fish, taco, and then barbecue. So just nice things to go along with the wild game that you harvest, and they're very versatile as well. Another cool thing that we do that helps with the cooking line of things is we work with Carolina
Carolina
Cooker.
Cooper.
Yeah, out of Garner, North Carolina. They specialize in outdoor cooking equipment such as grills, cast iron, and aluminum cookware. And then also, if you really get into hunting, like I am, and you have properties that you need to maintain or upkeep, they have all that too, because it is an agricultural store, part of
Mhm.
Agri Supply. So great one-stop shop right there. So
It's the
um,
Walmart of hunting.
practically. So yeah, we can do it all. We can do it all for you. And one thing that besides the hunting aspect, we teach people how to cook it as well.
Mhm.
So instead of if we're lucky enough, because hunting is not all about being having a harvest every time you go out. Honestly, it really doesn't happen that frequently. I think I shoot maybe 2 or 3 deer a year if I'm lucky. And generally, I'll get a couple meat deer and then go after something for the wall after I
Hmm.
put meat in the freezer. Um, but when we do have a harvest, we bring it back. I'll show you how to cut it up, talk over what to do, how long to age it, different aging methods to it that you can do. Most people don't have a walk-in cooler or access to a cooler, so I just use a 90-gallon Yeti style cooler to put my deer in. So it's very, very good. It works nice, and you only leave it in there for about 5 days and then pull it out, and you don't have any of that real strong wild flavor, that pronounced flavor that a lot of people don't like. They call it gamey, but I'm trying to get away from saying gamey because it's just aged too long, in my opinion. Um,
One thing that I noticed about your services is as you were talking, and I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't really care about hunting, but I want you to pay attention to how he's talking about this. Is he's telling about the journey of his ideal client, right? And yes, he does deal with beginner people, but he could still continue to serve you through the spices, the cooking techniques, because you also have a YouTube channel that
yep,
shares the Carolina Cooker products and how you use them in your lifestyle as a hunter who basically what we're doing here is it's from field to plate. It's like
yep.
farm to plate. This is, you're out there. One of my friends said sight to skillet.
I like that. Sight the skillet. Yeah, I may
Sight
have
to
to steal
skillet.
that actually.
You're welcome to steal it. He wants you to. So what's so incredible is that Paul has gotten the attention of people out in Arizona, even though he's located in North Carolina. And I think that what you're creating here is more of a lifestyle than just, and that's the whole point of being an online service provider is you are creating a lifestyle and how you address that lifestyle with your clients. So I noticed on your website, and if you want to check it out, it's down in the show notes. I noticed on your website it's not the typical hunter website where you see camo and
Mhm.
tents and guns. It's actually a very upscale, fine dining looking kind of experience where you're combining farmers as well as culinary arts.
Yep.
Are you a chef?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
See,
Um,
we got some culture up in here.
yeah, yeah. So, and the kind of the thought process behind combining everything is because really, when you have chefs, farmers, hunters, anglers, we all kind of come in the same circle, right?
Hmm.
Because you can't get your food without the farmers. Farmers need help from the hunters to manage and protect crops from animals, whether it's coyote predator hunting or just regular deer hunting.
Hmm.
And it also brings in a little extra income for the farmers on leases and stuff like that. Growing up, we lived on about 12,000-acre ranch in Wyoming, and like our annual income came from the hunting season for about 3 weeks out of the year. That's where most of our money came from, was taking people out hunting and outfitting. Now, that was a little bit of a different experience than what I'm doing because that was more of a trophy style hunting. But people paid a lot of money to come out and hang out with us for 5 days. We put them up in a bunkhouse or cabin that we had on the property. Cooked for them, took care of them, all that stuff, and took
Hmm.
them out hunting. So it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people doing that. But with that experience and then with the culinary experience that I have, I wanted to take it to a different level and working with some of these clubs out here, such as the Wake County Wildlife Club, Durham County Wildlife Club, uh, NC State. There's a lot of people out there that are hungry for the knowledge of harvesting their own meat and growing their own vegetables and stuff like that.
It kind of follows along with the whole foods mentality. It's it's
Yes.
it's taking the grocery store out of the middle of it.
Hmm.
And you're not talking about, hey, let's just not go to the grocery store. You're not talking about completely living off the land. It's just an option to live a cleaner lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we have to be realistic when we look at that because,
Yeah.
there's certain things you're not going to be able to go out and grow or harvest exactly what you want. I mean, you're still going to, I like beef, I like pork, I try to purchase most of my meat, pork primarily from local farmers here in North Carolina. Beef as well. Usually I'll get a whole side of beef and a whole pig once a year, and then not have to buy it from the grocery store. At least that way I know where it's coming from, and I know it's not pumped with a bunch of junk that doesn't need to be in
And see, what
there.
I love what you're doing here is you're keeping it a community. You're
Mhm,
keeping it within your own local network. We get caught up with social media thinking we got to go international. You can still stay local on with selling your services through your website and on social media. And I
mhm,
love how you're connecting all of this. See, when I met Paul, we were at a networking event, local in-person networking event, and everybody went around and talked about their services, and of course me being me had to be the cocky little shit that I am, and and
hence here we
what
are. Yeah.
hence here we are. um, but the thing is that when I'm at a networking event, and Paul's doing the same thing, anybody that's at a networking event is looking for somebody that can lead them to their ideal client. As a business strategist, when I'm there listening to you all talk about your businesses, I'm watching the reaction of the people in the room. I'm also thinking to myself, can this person speak their language? Can they speak their offer? Can they talk about their services clearly without adding flowery language and and extreme promises in a confident
That's an
manner?
issue.
And you were one of the most there were a couple others, but because we're focused on you today, you were one of the most magnetizing speakers there. And what was so funny is I believe your wife was there too, right?
Yep.
It was so
She
funny. She had
invited
her
me.
business suit on. She looked very professional. And then he comes in late with his son looking like they just came back from the hunt. And I'm like, oh, that must be her husband. He doesn't have much to say. And then he speaks. So it's not about walking in with the big dress code. And I mean, that's fine. If your business
Hmm.
requires the business look, fine. But he came in looking exactly what he is. And then he elevated it just through confidently speaking his services and what he's doing today. He knows exactly who he's looking for, he knows exactly what he wants out of his business. And so, that being said, with your business, it's obvious that your passion is around hunting. And how do you live? I know, didn't you tell me you used to own Carolina Cooker, or you had some kind of
Hmm.
okay, so you have some kind of connection with Carolina Cooker from your past. You're the
Yeah.
face of the business.
Yeah, yeah. So practically, what it was is how I got connected with them was through a mutual friend, Chris Douglas. He's got the Carolina All Out cooking, not cooking, but hunting show here in North Carolina,
Okay.
and they do a cooking segment at the end of their show, and they were needing a new chef because the chef they had um, just couldn't do it anymore or didn't want to do it. I'm not sure what the whole story there was, but anyway, Chris reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested if they couldn't get in touch with this guy. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. I don't have any experience
What the
doing
heck?
professional videographies or anything like that, so you're gonna have to bear with me if I do that. But he called me back about a week later and said, hey, you're in if you want to do it. So
And
they sent
see,
me
you
over.
didn't need all the pretty equipment and
Mm-mm.
you literally do it from your kitchen, don't you?
The ones that I do on my YouTube, yes, I do those in my kitchen. Now I do have, the camera and the light set up to make it look a little bit better. And I tell you, that is a pain in the ass having to move that camera around the kitchen, get the close shots, and then put it back
Yes,
where
it
it
is.
was the way you had it before. Yeah, it sucks doing it all by yourself. But one of these days, I'll be able to get me a camera person. Um, but and when you try to film your own hunt, that even adds more to
Oh
it
God, I
because I
can only
had
imagine.
the one of the YouTube show videos I put up was of a field to table kind of in 8 minutes is what it's called. So it showed me sitting in the stand, then it showed the deer come in, shoot the deer, go walk up on it, and then bring it back. And it shows kind of a speeded version of me breaking it down,
Mhm.
and then turned it on to I think I seared some of the tenderloins or something and put it on the plate at the end of it. So just kind of a condensed version of what it is. And for
Yeah.
any of y'all listening, it doesn't happen in 8 minutes. It does
No,
not.
it doesn't.
It's
No.
like more like 5 days if you're lucky to actually get something, and that's being there consistently from morning to night.
I love that
And
you did that because videos of any kind, I do horseback riding. There's horse trainers out there that do these videos, and in 5 minutes, the horse is doing amazing things. And I do know that, in online business space, we have a lot of people that make it look like it happens. There's this appearance, even though they may tell you it's not going to happen overnight.
mhm.
There is the appearance that it does. So I'm glad that you remind people it does not happen in 8 minutes.
No, it's not that magical, when you're watching the show and it comes out in the field and it's been like 2 minutes into the show and they're seeing all these animals out there. That's not. Now, sometimes you may get lucky.
No.
You may get lucky, but
If
usually
there's a
they're like
unicorn in a
100
magic
yards.
stream,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. They're usually way out in the distance and you can't get to them. But anyway, kind of going back to the Carolina Cooker part of it. So yeah, the appetite for the outdoors is the segment at the end of the Carolina All Out
Okay.
shots, and we try to utilize as much wild game as we possibly can, just to kind of mix it in with the hunting show.
Mhm.
But I was doing that with them for a couple years, and then I got a call kind of out of the blue from the Carolina Cooker guys, and they asked me to come on board with them and kind of help them with some consulting type stuff, and work on the cooking aspect of things, and just kind of see if it would be a good fit for us to work together and kind of go on that basis
Continue
as
that
kind of a
kind of collaborative. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's been good. I'm not going to say it hasn't been a learning curve, because it definitely has. But it's good. I really enjoy working with those guys. They've got great products, and it's cast iron. You can't get any better than
Mhm.
cast iron. So it's
I know they sell nationally because I've got friends over out west that are like, "Oh yeah, we know about Carolina Cooker. We love that stuff."
nice. Yeah, we've got dealers quite a few states now, but we've got the brick and mortar stores, which are located
Mhm.
in North Carolina, Georgia.
Yeah, because it's your home base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have dealers around the country, and then of course online shopping as well.
So my question for you, while we're sitting here, people have just now heard your passion for hunting, how you provide your services, the story behind how your whole story. Now, we've led up to you've done YouTube channel, you've done all this stuff. And now you're collaborating with a pretty big business here locally.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in business?
So I've been in business, and this is I'll condense the story down a little bit, but so I've been in business since 2020. So been 4 years, almost 4 years, not quite 4 years. I started in October of 2020, practically right after the whole meat shortage,
Mhm.
COVID meat shortage thing. I couldn't do anything with the toilet paper, but I figured I could do something about the meat shortage.
There's
Um,
leaves. We can use those.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of natural resources out there. Just don't use a pine cone; you'll be fine.
Pay attention to that 3 leaves and 4 leaves thing.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you'll be acting like a dog on the carpet if you do that. It's not going to be fun. And you might get hit
Visuals
with a
for the
newspaper too.
audience.
Well, we really went on left field on that, didn't we? But anyway, so when the meat shortage, happened and everyone's freaking out, I'm part of the next door app thing, and
Oh,
people are like,
yeah.
"Oh, I can't find chicken, I can't find beef, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. You can be
We're all gonna
vegetarian."
die.
Yeah, and I was like, I walk out into my garage, open up my garage freezer. It's packed with beef and pork and chicken and deer and all that, and I was like, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that would probably love to have what I've got out here, just in case things
Mhm.
like this happen. And I was like, well, there's a lot of people out there that may want to know how to hunt, but don't know where to start or how to get started. So I decided to start the company and try to help as many people as I can get into the hunting outdoors, and then also shed a better light on the sport
Yeah.
and the community, because we've been kind of dubbed as bad people, because
Murderers.
murderers. You kill those defenseless animals. Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing
It's just,
is that, talking about that too, we've got, we go back to you saying COVID, lack of meat, lack of food in the grocery
hmm
store, basically.
yep.
And that's a need.
hmm
And here you have a stacked freezer and you're using the resources for what they're meant to be used for. But what I also noticed is here in North Carolina, especially, I also lived in Tennessee. And there's a lot of hunters in Tennessee. And you can tell, here's how I know. Here's how I know. Driving down the road in Tennessee aren't near as many deer flying across the road as there are here in North Carolina. In North Carolina, you can come across 20 deer trying to cross the road.
hmm Oh yeah.
And hunters actually keep that population down. We have coyotes, yes, they can do that too, but more deer mean more coyotes, mean more predators, mean more, and especially when you have an area that's growing so fast with subdivisions, now you've got all that inside your subdivision, and
Yep.
there has to be a way to control that population. There just
Yeah.
has to.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and the management aspect of hunting is very important. Like you said, it with development, especially in this area, in the Triangle area, the trees and everything are being knocked down left and right.
Mhm.
Their habitats are getting destroyed, and they have no place to go. So, in that sense, that's heartbreaking for me because
Yeah.
we're destroying their homes, but also more people are moving in. We need more space for people to
Mhm.
move and come into when they move to the area. So that it's kind of a top of the chain, I
And the
guess.
sad thing
When
is with more animals coming in, there's more disease that gets
hmm
spread because now
yeah,
they're getting pushed into each other like that.
yeah, and they're going to run out of resources, food. I mean, they're gonna
Mhm.
they're gonna end up dying a more horrible death than being shot and dying in
Well,
the
and then there's the
final
other
six
side of the
seconds.
scale where you've got the people from out of town that are determined to feed them outside their back door, then they become fat and unhealthy that way.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean they're being pumped with it's not very healthy corn
Mhm.
that I'm
Yeah,
sure they're
yeah,
buying.
yeah.
It's GMO and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
but they become dependent, and I mean same
That's
with
not
the
good.
geese and stuff. No, because they're not gonna be after a while they're not gonna be able to fend for themselves. They're gonna
And
depend
then they
on.
become invasive and a problem.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And if you guys like your tulips or flowers and vegetables and stuff like that, you don't want them in your yard.
What I always find fascinating is people are more than willing to kill the coyote, but they're not willing to kill the deer when the deer could be
Mm.
much more dangerous than the coyote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen those videos of people getting attacked by deer.
Mhm.
They,
I own
yeah,
horses, prey animals. I always tell people you should be more fearful of the animal that's scared than the one that's going to come up and hunt you because you at least
yeah,
know where you stand with that one.
yeah, exactly, exactly. No, I've had some scary experiences with runaway horses because they got spooked, and yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that's
lot
not
of
fun.
weight coming at you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I appreciate you talking with me about this. I love the way that you did your website, though. It's not a typical hunter website, it's more of a lifestyle website that
hmm
brings hunting into the lifestyle that you're trying to represent, the one that is your goal. So the lifestyle that you have is one of being a chef. And but I don't see you doing, look, I have a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, hold on a second. Well, while she's barking, I'm gonna go get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
okay. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Paul's dog decided to tell us how it felt about our podcast interview.
Yeah, she tends to go off the walls at least 4 or 5 times a day. So
There was a squirrel, something.
yeah, mailman, I think, is
You
what it
needed to
was.
know about it right then and there.
Yes, yeah, it
But
was a
I mean,
threat.
back to the lifestyle that you are, I think that what you're doing, the reason why I want to talk about the lifestyle aspect is you're elevating hunting, which is very interesting and to me, I'm not a hunter, but I have hunters in my family, and I do know the kind of the stigma around hunting for a lot of people. So I really love what you're doing there. But what I'm getting at with the lifestyle aspect is you are already living the lifestyle that you want to live as a business owner, even though you may not be completely where you want to be in your business, right?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's key. I really do.
yeah. And for all those out there that are looking to start a business, if you can find something that you truly enjoy to do, you don't work a day in your life.
Exactly.
practically. So, with what I'm doing, like Lee said, it's the way I live my life day in day out. So, it's I'm shooting, I'm target practicing, I'm cooking daily. Working with butchering, hunting, fishing. You know, being outdoors, hiking, camping, all that. So, with me being able to incorporate that as a business and make some money with it, I mean, it's a true blessing, to be honest with you. Now, going into what Lee said, may not be where you want to be. That's true. It takes a long time to build things up. I mean, um,
Well, I think too, like going back to what you said about it's a pain in the butt to set up all the cameras and all this
yeah,
stuff. There are things that you don't like doing. There are things like posting, getting on social media and doing, if there are going to be things
exactly.
that you don't like to do, there may be even networking. I mean, a lot of people, I think you focus more on local networking than you
Hmm.
do maybe social media, but whatever it is you need to focus on in your marketing strategy to spread your business and to connect with others in whatever way it's going to be to connect with them, it needs to align with your values. And for Paul, it seems like networking locally fits his business. And so then you build upon that. And
Yeah.
that's how he got to the point where he was collaborating with another business. But the lifestyle has not changed because you
No.
want to continue living that lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Because it's, I mean, over the years, it's kind of what defines me in a way, really. Is being a hunter, being an outdoorsman, being a chef. So all that kind of collaborates into who Paul is.
Yeah.
And
And like
with
you said earlier, it just makes it easier. Even when the stuff you don't want to do comes
yeah,
along, it motivates you to keep going because you're doing something you love.
yeah, exactly. And like there's always going to be something that you don't enjoy doing with any business or any kind of career. But you have to do it. And just look at the bigger picture, and it's just a smooth oiled machine after you kind of get things rolling. And yeah, it definitely helps loving what you do.
I mean, of course, you're looking at the bottom line. You have to because your
Hmm.
business has to have the bottom line in order to survive. But what leads to that bottom line is what you really need to pay attention to. It's, am I living the lifestyle that I would like to represent inside my business so that others are attracted to that lifestyle as well? That pretty much vibe with me, right? Where's my tribe that wants to follow me on this passion that I have? And that's who you're trying to speak to as a business owner. And by living that lifestyle, you attract those people because let's face it, you're a hunter, other hunters are going to be interested, or those that are interested in hunting are going to want to connect with you, which has
Hmm.
happened. Carolina Cooker
Yeah.
decided to collaborate with you. That's what happened. Other people have come to you to teach them how, and still the experienced hunter may come to you and say, you know what, Paul, the other day we were thinking about doing X, Y, and Z with this kill that we made the other day, but can you give us some tips on how to cook it based on this or that, right? What kind of seasonings, or how can we cure it? What are the different ways we can cure it? Just because they're experienced doesn't mean they have all the answers, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's the thing that we have to think about when we're talking to our ideal client is the lifestyle that we want to bring to our brand and represent in order to attract them to us. And I think that's exactly what you did when you walked in that room late at the networking. I mean, there were health and fitness people there was a health and fitness guy there who was like looking at you. He was sitting right next to me and I said, "You need to go talk to that man right now." And it seems like such an odd collaboration, doesn't it?
Hmm.
In some way, he's a health and fitness guy.
Yeah.
You know, why would he want to talk to a hunter? Well, because this particular hunter is bringing in the whole foods lifestyle in a completely different manner. And this is definitely somebody that he would want to connect with. So that's
Yeah.
what you discover when you network locally, which is definitely something I address in my services. But I also address how to do that also on social media, which I think can be the problem. We are very good at doing it locally and in face, but it's translating that kind of aspect onto social media that can be rough. But do you
Hmm.
have to 100% focus all your efforts on social media in order to grow your business? No, you obviously have not.
Yeah.
You focus more on well, you've done YouTube, which is SEO, and it is a slow growth thing, but you
Yeah.
focus more on getting out there and getting in the face of the people that you want to connect with, which I think is a great way to grow your business. And when you focus solely on that one aspect that you know can bring clients into your business, you can create more consistency and hire that person to move the camera around for you while you're doing your cooking show.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big thing, is that consistency is key. You have to be consistent in what you're doing, and just make it to where it's in front of people all the time, and they can see that you're serious with what you're doing, and it's not just kind of a fly by the seat of your pants type business. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and it's got to be entertaining. It's got to be educational, at least with what we're doing, and just bring that interest for people. And yeah, the social media, that's one thing that I haven't figured out quite yet. It's frustrating, very.
Honestly, I tell people don't try to understand the drunkard on the social media platform, which is called the algorithm. Just
Uh-huh.
just get out there and keep talking about your services.
There you go. Well, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
I mean, there are some things behind it where as you go, and I think you're starting to learn that. Notice he said he was been in business for 4 years, and across that 4 years, he's connected with people and learned more and more about how they speak about his passion so that he can address their concerns, their things that they would like to solve within the problem that he is solving for them, which is basically how to live a whole foods lifestyle with the hunter aspect involved. You're bringing in the farmers that maybe you're growing your own food. Well, you might want some meat on your table. So if you want to go all the way with this, here's another option.
Mhm.
And that is who he's searching for and looking for. And like I said, cite skillet. That's
Like to steal it,
it's
yeah.
as simple as that. That's one of your ideal clients' words, right? So
Hmm.
you start using those kind of wordages and you start connecting with people. So for you, as you were focusing on networking and going local and traveling around and talking to people locally, what were some of the things that you felt like were wins? Now, I know that as a business coach, I know the people in my online business marketing space tend to focus on the money. What do you focus on? Do you focus on, I'm going to make 20K, or do you focus on this is what's getting me closer to the income goals that I have? What is
So
considered a win in your world?
so really what I focus on is what's going to get me to where I ultimately want to be. I'm not counting the dollars. I mean, the dollars are important. That's what keeps us in business, right? But if you're not, let me kind of put it in this way. So you can get one client, right? And they give you 3 grand to go out on a hunt, and you stop there. You don't do any more marketing, don't do any other conversations. You dump the clubs. You're like, oh, this is great. First client, great.
Now they'll just come running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then what if that one client isn't happy with what happened? Let's say they have unrealistic expectations of what a hunt should look like. They expect to shoot something every day. They don't see something. They put out bad reviews or whatever. Then you just kind of cut your nose, spite your face, due to having just one client and thinking that
Mhm.
you hit a home run.
Well, I think the
You
other
know,
aspect is your nightmare clients can actually be your best asset because now you know the things that you need to address to attract your ideal
mhm.
client. So,
Yeah.
for example, you just said they figure they're going to kill 8 deer in 5 minutes. And that's just like with my business, they think they're going to make 20K in 5 minutes. It's
Hmm.
not, it's not going to happen in 5 minutes. And those are things that you have to be clear in your marketing is to make them realize that's one aspect that many times your ideal client, when they are starting out on this journey, they don't realize the road ahead, the expectations, the idealistic expectations they need to have getting in on this, that it's not, magic wand, voila, your problems are solved.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and another focus that I look at is just for me a win is getting people such as yourself within the local area that are interested and appreciate what we do. For
It
me, that's a
spreads the
win.
word more, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and it also shows openness that I wasn't expecting, especially in the Cary area. Uh, but I've got a lot more compliments and interest from individuals here in this area than I ever thought would be possible.
I think
I
that's from
expected.
your efforts, though. I think it's just a revelation of okay, all the work that I've done, people are starting to listen. And that's a huge, huge win. People are open to what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right there. That's half of the battle.
Yeah.
People listen and, take in what you're, excuse me, listen and take in what you're saying, then everything else will follow after that.
Yeah. It's kind of like you got to think about it, back in the days of the door-to-door salesman.
Hmm.
We're not doing quantity anymore. We want to do quality. So getting out there and talking about it and talking with the people that you think are your audience in order to discover how your ideal client views and sees this to make them more open to talking with you about your services. And I think
Exactly.
that you're doing that quite well on your website. I love the way the website looks. There's some, obviously there's some things you can tweak. There's always something to tweak on a website.
Always. Yeah.
I mean, after all, Amazon spent billions to determine what color orange they should use on their buttons. So, and continues to do so.
And yeah, I'm not doing that, but
No, but that was their
it,
thing to pick.
yeah, exactly.
And that's what works for them. I'm
Hmm.
not going to sit there and go, which color blue should I use to make you click? Instead, I might say, what kind of language can I use
Yeah.
to help connect with you better? It just depends on the style of business. I mean, Amazon's a product-based business, so of course they're
Hmm.
going to do that. They're not very much connected with you. They're a service in a way, but they're not. They're product-based.
Yeah.
When you're a service-based business, you definitely have to talk to your clients. And I love that you're sitting there and listening to some of the misconceptions that they have and are addressing that. I mean, yeah, you might have a bad client that comes along, but then you go, "Oh, I need to make it clear that this is not an overnight success."
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
all
then
about the communication ahead of time, especially with what we do, and just got to make that known before you even take a deposit, and
and
that's
it becomes
generally.
better. I've got clients that have come to me, just because they've sat there and done all the research, marketing research, which is basically literally going out and talking to people.
Hmm.
He would know. He got to a point after a year with being with me. Would get to a point and he would say, "I know if they're going to buy from me or not before they even get on the call."
Really.
And I was like, "Well, tell me more." And what it was is, and this was early on when I first started coaching people, and made me click. He just freaking talks to people. He cares.
Yeah.
I Duh. I mean, business is simple.
Who'd have
We
thought?
make it hard.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much, Paul. You can check out all of his stuff. Be sure to check out his spices. And if you are interested in learning more about hunting, Paul's information is in the show notes below, so you can connect with him and ask more questions. If you want to ask him about his business, feel free to ask him about his business. I also have links down there so you can get access to free resources and one-on-one support with me. Thanks so much, Paul. May have you back on again to see how you're doing with your business so people can hear more about, as we like to call you now in the business space, the juicy hunter.
Well, anytime you want me back, I'm happy to come on. And thank you for having me today. And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to join the Effortlessly Book community on Facebook for more free resources and support. Simply check out the show notes. Please share this podcast with other online service providers in your circle. And by all means, leave a comment and let me know your biggest takeaway, along with other topics you would like me to cover so you can continue to make business effortless.